If you have 3 potatoes at home, then separate them, because in just 3 minutes, we will make this delicious treat for an afternoon snack or breakfast. There's no way to resist. Let's start our recipe by cooking 3 medium potatoes. Here they are all well cooked. Now let's remove and drain the water. Then transfer to another container. Now remove all the skin. Here I prefer to cook the potatoes with the skin on so they don't get soaked in water. But if you want, you can peel the potatoes before cooking. Tell me in the comments how you cook the potatoes with or without the skin. Once this is done, we will knead it very well. Okay, now let's add 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Also add 5 spoons of wheat flour. Mix for the ingredients to integrate. And if you like easy recipes like this, click the like button and comment below. I love easy recipes. Now let's knead our dough with our hands. And that's the point. Here it is already perfect. Then on a board with plastic wrap, we will grease it with a little oil. Now take a portion of the dough and let's shape our snacks. Spread the dough like this, and here you can make it the size you prefer. Now let's add grated cheese. Here you can use the filling of your choice: ground beef, shredded chicken. Then you will close it like this as you see in the video. Because this dough is sensitive, it is important to use plastic thread greased with a little oil so as not to damage the dough. And look, it will stay like this. Here it is, already perfect. Now just take it to fry in hot oil. At this point, be a little careful not to burn yourself. Let it fry on one side, then turn it over and let it fry on the other. Do you want to make a different, delicious, and melt-in-your-mouth snack? And is it perfect for breakfast or an afternoon snack? This one will surprise your whole family. Honestly, there's no way to resist. Let it fry on the other side very well, and our savory snack is ready. Look how beautiful they turned out. Now just remove it and add it to a plate with paper towel. Wait for it to cool, and you can serve it. And look how perfect they turned out. I'm going to open one, and your mouth will water. If you've made it this far, leave a rating from 0 to 10. Which rating you give to this recipe? I really hope you liked it. I'll stay here. A big hug, and until the next recipe. I learned how to make this stuffed chicken at a 5-star restaurant. Now I only make chicken breast this way. It's tender and juicy, melts in your mouth. It's quick and easy. Let's start our recipe by slicing 3 chicken breasts thinly. And if you like easy recipes like this, click the like button and comment below. I love easy recipes. It's going to turn out like this. Now, using a meat mallet, pound all the chicken breasts to make them a little more tender. If you like chicken but have never eaten it prepared this way, you need to make this recipe. Now let's season with salt, black pepper, turmeric, and oregano to taste. And if you're enjoying our recipes, leave a comment below telling us what city or country you're watching from. I want to send you a big hug and thank you for sharing this recipe. Then I spread all the seasonings over the chicken fillets. Want to prepare a quick, easy, and delicious dinner? This recipe is a perfect option for you to make, which will leave your whole family's mouths watering. Now set aside. Next, in a bowl, add 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Then, add a tablespoon of mustard. Following that, add a tablespoon of creamy ricotta cheese and mix everything very well. This sauce will bring a wonderful flavor to our chicken. Now, set it aside. Next, grate 200 grams of cheese. Then transfer this grated cheese to a bowl. Then add chopped parsley to taste and 2 crushed garlic cloves. Once that's done, mix everything very well. Now, set it aside. Then spread the sauce we prepared on the chicken breast slices. Want to surprise your family at lunch or dinner? Then you need to prepare these stuffed chicken fillets, which are wonderful. Then add the grated cheese we just prepared to each chicken breast. Once that's done, just roll it up like this. After this recipe, you won't eat chicken breast any other way. It's delicious and quick to make. Now you're going to add the chicken breast to a serving dish. Then, tell me in the comments below what recipe you prepare with chicken breast at home. I'd love to hear it. This is your recipe. Then spread the remaining sauce we prepared here on top. This chicken is juicy and delicious, the perfect recipe for your weekend. Now bake in the oven at 200 degrees for approximately 40 minutes. And our stuffed chicken is ready. Look how perfect it turned out. You can now remove it and serve it. And if you've made it this far, leave a rating from 0 to 10. What score would you give this recipe? I really hope you enjoyed it. Now I'll be signing off. A big hug, and until the next recipe.
I learned this trick at a famous restaurant. Now I only make ribs like this. To start, we're going to wrap 1 kilo of pork ribs around a grater. Now, I'm going to secure it with a piece of string. I love recipes like this, simple but with a different touch. Right after that, we're going to pour hot water into a pot. Then I'll add the pork ribs. We'll let it boil and turn it to cook evenly. After that, I'll carefully remove the pork ribs from the pot. Next, we're going to remove the grater and the string. Then I'll slice it. And before I forget, tell me what city you're watching from so I can send you a special shout-out. Today's shout-out goes to Ashley Thompson from Austin, Texas. I'm so happy you're enjoying our recipes. Now, we're going to take a slice of pork ribs and place it in a dish with wheat flour. I'll turn it until it's completely coated. After that, we'll place it on a plate. And I'll repeat the process with the remaining slices of pork ribs. I love this moment because you can really feel the recipe starting to come to life. Now we're going to add a drizzle of olive oil to the skillet. Then I'll place the slices of pork ribs in to fry. You're going to be surprised by the result of this recipe. The flavor turns out amazing. After a few minutes, we'll flip them to brown evenly. This step may seem basic, but it guarantees the perfect result. At this point, I'll remove the pork ribs, place them on a plate, and set them aside. Now, we're going to add 1 sliced onion, 1 peeled head of garlic, and I'll saute lightly. Next, we're going to add 200 grams of spinach. Right after that, I'll add 1 cup of tomato sauce. And we'll mix until everything is well combined. Now I'll add 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of chimichurri, and half a cup of water, and we'll mix again. Next, I'll add the pork ribs we fried earlier. Meanwhile, I'm already imagining the reaction of whoever's going to try this recipe. That really motivates me. Now, we're going to pour beer over the pork ribs. Right after that, I'll cover and let it cook for 10 minutes. At this point, we're going to remove these juicy pork ribs from the pot and place them on a plate. Then I'll sprinkle parsley on top to taste. I like this kind of recipe because it delivers exactly what it promises. It doesn't require complicated steps, it doesn't need hard-to-find ingredients, and even so, it stands out for the result. The smell, the look, and the flavor are incredible. I've made it several times here at home, and all my friends and family love it. Make it at your house too, and then tell me what you thought.
I learned this trick from a friend in Italy, and now I only make pasta this way. To start today's recipe, I'm going to put 250 grams of pasta in a pot, 1 teaspoon of salt, water to cover, and I'll let it cook. For the next step, I'll remove the peel from a Sicilian lemon. Let me know if you've ever made a pasta recipe like this before. I'd love to know. We're going to cut the lemon peel into small pieces, just like I'm doing. After I learned how to do it this way, I could never eat it any other way. It's so easy to make and incredibly delicious. Now I'm going to cut the lemon in half. With the help of a juicer, we're going to extract all its juice. Using just a few everyday ingredients, we can make a meal that's much more delicious than the ones sold in regular restaurants. Even your family and friends will ask you to teach them how to make it because it's so good when it's ready. I'm going to set aside some of the water from cooking our pasta. I learned this amazing recipe from a friend who lives in Italy. I'm sure it will surprise you. In another pan, I'm going to put a tablespoon of butter, a little bit of olive oil, and let it melt. We're going to add 2 cloves of chopped garlic and keep stirring. Then I'll add the lemon peel we chopped and keep mixing. I'll also use the lemon juice. Add a cup of heavy cream. I'm sure this will become one of your favorite recipes. I'll season it with a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, the pasta water, and keep stirring. Now I'm going to add the pasta we cooked earlier. 4 cloves of garlic, and I'll mix everything again. It's very easy, practical, and quick to make. There's no reason not to try it. This is the secret that fancy restaurant owners don't want you to know. My family often asks me to make this. When I do it at home, there's never any left. It's impossible to eat just a little. This recipe has been in my family for many generations. Now I make it for my kids, and they absolutely love it. And our recipe is ready. Look how delicious it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. See you in the next video. Bye.
I learned this when I traveled to Italy and had the best chicken of my life. I'm going to start by cutting a chicken breast in half. I bet you'll find this super easy to make. After cutting it, I'll cover it with plastic wrap and pound it well with a kitchen mallet. And before I forget, tell me which city you're watching from so I can send you a special shout out. Today's shout out goes to Michael Brooks from Austin, Texas. I'm really happy you're enjoying our recipes. Alright, this is perfect. Now I'm going to add wheat flour here in this bowl. You can coat the chicken breast in it. Make sure every side is well covered. It's one of those recipes you try once and never forget. Look how it turns out. In this other bowl, I'll add 2 eggs. And I'll also add 3 cloves of garlic. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of black pepper, and parsley to taste. I'll add half a cup of grated Parmesan. Now I'll mix everything until it's well combined, no rush. This is the perfect recipe for when you want something quick and delicious. There's no secret, just follow the steps. Now you can dip the chicken in here. Besides being delicious, it looks amazing too. This recipe looks beautiful on the table, perfect for surprising guests. I'm going to fry it in a pan with oil. Once it gets a nice golden color, you can flip it to fry the other side. In just a few minutes, you have an incredible meal ready. It's the kind of recipe that saves your day when things get busy. I'll add 1.5 cups of chicken broth, 3 more cloves of garlic, and a bit of parsley. Then 1 tablespoon of butter. You can mix everything slowly. This recipe is exclusive and made for people who love practicality without giving up flavor. It's the kind of dish that turns a simple meal into something unforgettable. I'm going to squeeze half a lime in. I made this yesterday for my friends, and they loved it so much they begged me to come here and teach it to you. Keep mixing. Besides the amazing taste, the final look is wonderful. I'm sure you'll impress everyone at home. Now I can dip the chicken in again. These ingredients together create an explosion of flavor. When you make it, send me a picture. I'd love to see how it turned out. Alright, now I'll place it on a plate. You can spoon some of the mixture over the top. Look how beautiful it is. Exactly how I wanted it. The soft texture is the highlight. Try it at home and tell me how it went. Remember, these exclusive tips you only get here with me. If you're enjoying this, Keep an eye on the next videos. The prep is simple, but the result is worthy of a chef. You don't need to spend hours in the kitchen to make an incredible dish.
If you have corn and milk at home, you've got to try this recipe. We're going to start by adding 2 tablespoons of oil into a pot. Add in 1 cup of popcorn and some salt. Using a spatula, stir all these ingredients well. Now I haven't turned the heat on in my pan yet. It's really important that you mix everything together first. After mixing everything together well, let's turn the heat on to medium. This recipe is delicious. Once the popcorn has started to pop, you're going to want to put a cover on. Our popcorn's almost ready. Let's go ahead and set this aside for now. In a saucepan, I'm going to add half a cup of sugar. Melt this well and be careful not to burn yourself because it gets really hot. And melt this down until a caramel forms. It's always important to cook caramel on a nice low heat. After the sugar has dissolved, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And very carefully give this a stir. And you can just see how cool this looks. The texture has already changed. We're now going to add half a cup of milk. But when you're adding the milk, you just want to add it little by little and stir constantly. Don't stop stirring. Turn the heat back on and stir constantly. Finish with the rest of that milk. And you can just see how absolutely beautiful the caramel looks. This is the ideal point for the caramel. Go ahead and turn off the heat, and we're going to transfer the caramel with our popcorn. The taste of this popcorn will surprise you. Mix the popcorn with the caramel just like this. And this recipe is so popular with kids. Your children will just love this one. Perfect for watching a movie or a TV show. And just like that, our recipe is ready. Transfer this to a serving bowl and call your family to enjoy this with you. But be very careful because it is still piping hot. Now I like to finish by adding some powdered milk on top. Delicious. Our recipe is ready. I hope you make this at home. Bon appetit.
If you have a can of condensed milk and a can of peaches, make this delicious dessert. To start our recipe, I'll strain 450 grams of peaches and drain all the liquid from them. Guys, this recipe is wonderful. Next, I'll transfer our peaches to another bowl and, with the help of a mixer, I'll blend the peaches until they become juice, like this. Then, I'll add 2 cups of condensed milk to the blended peach juice and use the mixer again to mix our ingredients. This recipe is incredible. I'm sure the result will surprise you. In another bowl, I'll put 2 cups of whipping cream and then use a mixer to whip the whipping cream until it reaches a frosting consistency. My friends always ask me to teach them how to make this. It's so amazing. It'll look like this. After reaching this point, I'll add our peach and condensed milk mixture to the whipping cream. I'll mix all the ingredients well. Guys, this dessert has become one of my favorites since the first time I made it. I'm sure it will become yours too. I'll set aside a bit. Meanwhile, I'll crush 80 grams of chocolate, which will give a special touch to our recipe. It's a simply amazing, delicious recipe with few ingredients. Make it at home and then come back here to tell me what you thought. I'd love to know. After crushing the chocolate, I'll pour it into our mixture of whipping cream, peach, and condensed milk. I'll mix it again so that the chocolate is spread throughout our recipe. Once done mixing, I'll transfer it to another container. Guys, I love this recipe. I'm sure you and your whole family will love it too. I make it every weekend. It's perfect for making with the whole family together, and whenever I make it, there's nothing left. My family loves it and asks me to make it all the time. After putting everything in the container, I'll leave it in the freezer for 4 hours. After the time has passed, our recipe is ready. Look how beautiful it turned out. This recipe has already become a routine in my house. I'm sure once you try it, it will become a routine in your house too. Just serve and enjoy this wonderful dessert. This recipe is perfect for making on those sunny weekends. It's very refreshing. Let me know if you have any recipes with peaches and condensed milk. I'd love to know. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you so much for watching this video until here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Want to prepare a quick, easy, different, and delicious dinner? Then you need to make this recipe. After you try it, you won't want to eat any other way. Start by adding 8 eggs to a frying pan. Once that's done, add a chicken breast cut into cubes. Now, mix very well until combined. If you like easy recipes like this, click the like button and comment below. I love easy recipes. You'll be surprised at the end of this recipe because it's incredible. Now add half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper. This is the best chicken recipe I've ever eaten in my entire life, and I'm sure you'll like it too. Add chopped parsley to taste and mix. Once that's done, set this aside and let's grate 100 grams of cheese. Here I'm using mozzarella cheese, but you can use your preferred cheese. Once that's done, let's add this grated cheese to the mixture we prepared earlier. If you want to surprise your family at Sunday lunch or dinner, this is a perfect option that will leave everyone's mouth watering. Now let's add 100 grams of heavy cream and mix. Don't forget to save this video so you don't lose this wonderful recipe. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of wheat flour and mix very well again. Tell me in the comments what chicken recipe you make at home. I'd love to know your recipe. Now let's take our mixture to medium heat. Let's cover and let it cook for 10 minutes. After that time, let's add 100 grams of grated cheese on top. Cover again and let it cook for 5 minutes until the cheese is completely melted. And our recipe is ready. Now just add it to a plate, take a piece and serve. Look how incredible it turned out. Make it at home and come back to tell me if you liked it. And if you've made it this far, leave a rating from 0 to 10. What rating would you give this recipe? I really hope you enjoyed it. Now I'll be leaving now. A big hug, and until the next recipe.
Invite the family over because this recipe is perfect. So start this recipe by separating 1 loaf of bread. And then with a knife, you're just going to cut out all of the crumbs. This recipe also works if you want to use baguette as well. And then just squeeze until a large hole forms in the middle of the loaf. Now add the piece of bread that you've cut into a mold. In all, I cut 8 loaves total for my family. And then add 1 spoonful of cream cheese inside each loaf. This is easy, and the cream cheese is going to make our recipe so tasty. Now after finishing, just set aside to continue the recipe. We're going to separate 200 grams of ham and 200 grams of mozzarella cheese. Now it's time to cut the ham and cheese into small cubes.
So this process is very quick and very simple. There's really no secret, just easy cuts. And add all of the pieces to a larger bowl. And you're going to love the taste of this recipe. It is so, so good. My family loves this recipe. They are always asking me to make it. Now we're going to add 2 chopped tomatoes after adding the ham and cheese. Then 200 grams of cream cheese. I love the taste of this filling too. My family and friends, they're always asking me for the recipe, so here it is. And now all you have to do is mix it into a super creamy filling. So I add super creamy ricotta cheese and just mix patiently, and it's going to turn into a lovely creamy filling. Now this is the texture that we are looking for. You can add some onion and parsley if you prefer, and it's going to be so super tasty. Now just fill each bun with this creamy filling. You can see how pretty it looks. It looks so good. And this recipe is so easy that when everyone's asking you to make it, you'll want to cook it every day. So then finish with some mozzarella cheese on top to make the recipe even tastier. I love the taste of this bread so much. You can also substitute the flavor of the bread if you prefer. And just add as much cheese as you like. And then finish with some oregano. Look at that. This is easy and quick and perfect. So now we're just going to bake until the cheese is nice and melted. And once it is, our recipe is ready. See how tasty that looks? Wow. This is a perfect recipe, and it's super crispy, and that filling is just creamy and perfect. So this is stuffed bread, the perfect family recipe. The taste of this ham and cheese filling, it is surreal and delicious.
I added egg to canned tuna and was blown away by the result. Learned this from a 5-star chef. I'm going to start by adding 1 egg to this 120-gram can of tuna. Then I'll transfer it to another bowl. Don't worry, we're only using a few ingredients. I'm adding a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of chili flakes, a teaspoon of fried garlic. And I'm also adding 1 more egg. Now I'll mix it all together. No rush. You're gonna fall in love with the flavor of this recipe. The taste is amazing. When you try it at home, send me a pic of how it turned out. All right, I've mixed it well enough. In a pan, I'll pour in some olive oil. Then I'm adding 1 chopped onion. Keep stirring while it cooks. Once it starts turning golden, you're good to go. That onion smell? So good. Honestly, it's one of my favorite ingredients. Goes with just about anything. Now I'll pour the tuna mix right on top. Spread it out evenly with a spoon. Oh, before I forget, tell me what city you're watching from so I can give you a shout out. Today's shout out goes to Jason Miller from Austin, Texas. I'm so glad you're enjoying our recipes. I bet you're finding this super easy to follow. I tried to break everything down step by step so you won't have any trouble making it. Now I'll cover it and let it cook for 10 minutes. After that, I'll flip it over using a plate so it can cook on the other side. But first, let's take it up a notch. I'm gonna add some shredded mozzarella. I love cooking with mozzarella, so I'm being generous with it, but you can add as much or as little as you want. Look how pretty it's already looking. This dish will look amazing on the table. I'll sprinkle some oregano on top to finish it off. This is gonna be incredible. Now I'll cover it again and let it cook for another 5 minutes. And look at that! I gotta say, the smell alone is one of the best parts of this recipe. I made this yesterday for some friends and they loved it so much, they begged me to come here and show it to you. Now it's time to cut and plate it. The best thing about this recipe is that you can make it in no time with just a handful of ingredients. That's why it's become a go-to in my house. It's so easy that even if you're not that confident in the kitchen, you'll still be able to make this delicious meal. This one's for anyone who loves quick and easy recipes without sacrificing flavor. Every ingredient was picked with taste and nutrition in mind. Perfect for anyone trying to eat a little better without giving up on flavor. It's one of those dishes. Once you try it, you won't forget it. You'll see that you don't need to spend hours in the kitchen to serve up something amazing. Go ahead and try it out.
I discovered the best homemade ice cream recipe in the world. Only 3 ingredients. Add 3 1/3 cups of well-chilled heavy whipping cream to a bowl. With the help of a mixer, beat the cream very well until it stiffens. Notice that the result is a very creamy whipped cream. To this, add 1 1/4 cups of cocoa powder. My cocoa is 50% cocoa. Using a spatula, mix these ingredients well. I'll use the mixer again, but I like to fold in the chocolate first to avoid splatters in my kitchen. Stir with a spoon or spatula. This tip is super handy to avoid mess in the kitchen. After lightly mixing, remove the excess from the spatula and get the mixer back. Beat well with the mixer to fully incorporate the cocoa powder. This is the perfect result of the cocoa powder mixed into our whipped cream. The last ingredient in our recipe is sweetened condensed milk. Add 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk to your bowl. I guarantee this ice cream recipe is so delicious that you won't want to buy store-bought anymore. Repeat the process and mix again. The condensed milk not only makes the ice cream sweeter, but also makes the cream smoother, more homogeneous, and shiny. Now, just transfer it to a larger bowl. The texture of the ice cream is so delicious that my mouth is already watering. Now you must make this recipe at home because I'm teaching you a super valuable recipe. A recipe to make at home, simple and super easy. Make it to please your kids because you're going to thank me. My mouth is already watering because the ice cream smells wonderful. A simple and easy recipe to make at home. Did you notice I only used 3 ingredients and made this huge amount of ice cream? Spread it well in your pan. The result is beautiful and so delicious. Make it at home. Freeze for at least 4 hours. Soon I'll show you the result of our ice cream. And here is the result of our ice cream after a few hours in the freezer. I'm going to serve a generous portion. Notice that it stays creamy with a soft texture and doesn't get too hard. I'm narrating, but my mouth is watering. Serve a generous portion for yourself and your family. You can also make it at home and leave it in the freezer overnight. Serve it at lunch, and you'll please your whole family. Now, I'll show you an optional topping. Add strawberry syrup on top. But if you prefer more balanced desserts, just add the ice cream and enjoy. Enjoy this perfect ice cream for your summer, and bon appetit. Shall we eat?
I learned this trick from a friend in Italy. Now I only make pasta this way. I'll start by adding 200 grams of pasta to this pot. Then I'll add a teaspoon of salt and also some hot water. Let it cook. When it reaches this texture, I'll save a bit of the water to use later. You're gonna see how easy this is to make. Here I've got this lemon, and I'm gonna peel it completely. We'll use the peel to give a special touch to our recipe's flavor. Cut the lemon in half so we can squeeze it later. Now I'll keep cutting the peel into small pieces. Just do the same at home. With this method, there's no way to mess it up. The pieces will look like this. I'm also gonna chop 1 clove of garlic. It really enhances the flavor. I love cooking with garlic. I use it all the time. You probably already have all these ingredients at home. Now I'll add a tablespoon of butter to this pan. Stir until it melts completely. Then I'll add the lemon peel and the garlic. Mix again a little bit. And before I forget, tell me what city you're watching from so I can send you a special shout out. Today's shout out goes to Michael Turner from Austin, Texas. I'm really glad you're enjoying our recipes. Every ingredient here was chosen with both flavor and nutrition in mind. Perfect for anyone looking for balanced meals without giving up taste. Now I'll squeeze that lemon we cut earlier. Maybe you already have all these ingredients at home, so no need to worry about spending extra at the store. I'll pour the lemon juice into the pan. The flavor's gonna be just perfect. Next, I'll add 1 cup of heavy cream, a bit of that pasta water, a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Stir gently, no rush. With this method, it's impossible to go wrong. I've detailed every step to make it easy when you try it yourself. I'm sure this recipe will become a classic in your home. You'll never make it just once. Now that everything's mixed, I'll add the pasta. Then I'll toss in 6 cloves of garlic and a teaspoon of dried parsley. It's amazing how well garlic goes with almost anything. It's just perfect. Now just stir a bit more. Besides tasting amazing, it looks beautiful too. A great dish to impress your guests. To finish, I'll sprinkle some grated Parmesan on top. Just looking at it makes me want to dig in. I knew it would turn out perfect. Now I'll plate it up. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Now it's time to enjoy it with the whole family. I learned this trick from a friend in Italy, and now I only cook chicken this way. To start, let's cut 3 chicken breasts like this. Have you ever tried making a recipe like this at home? Tell me, I'd love to know. Next, I'll add 100 grams of sliced mozzarella and insert it into the cuts we made in each chicken breast. I love recipes like this. Simple, but with a different touch. Then, let's make several cuts on the surface of the chicken breasts. I love testing new recipes, and this one is worth every minute. After that, I'll add more mozzarella to taste inside the cuts, just like this. I love this moment because you can really feel everything starting to come to life. Now we'll place slices of red onion inside each cut. And before I forget, tell me which city you're watching from so I can send you a special shout out. Today's shout out goes to Tiffany Norton from San Diego, California. I'm so happy you're enjoying our recipes. Now let's add a sliced tomato, placing the pieces inside the cuts like this. There are steps in every recipe that make all the difference. And this is one of them. As I place these tomato slices, you can already see how everything starts to come together in balance, creating a base that defines not only the texture, but also the final look of the dish. Even though it's a quick, practical, and simple recipe, it has a presence that grabs attention right away. These little details are what make the results so special. Next, we'll transfer the chicken breasts to a baking dish. Meanwhile, I can already imagine the reaction of whoever's going to taste this. That's what really motivates me. Then, in a bowl, I'll add 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of paprika, and 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. We'll mix everything well until smooth. After that, using a kitchen brush, I'll spread this mixture evenly over the chicken breasts. Every time I make this recipe, I realize how much the final result depends on this step. This is where we get the perfect texture, define the finish, and make it truly delicious. Now let's bake it in the oven at 356 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. After that time, I'll carefully remove it from the oven. I learned this recipe from an Italian friend during a trip. He prepared this dish so naturally that it seemed too simple, and the result completely surprised me. It looked so beautiful it could have come from a restaurant. Since then, I've never stopped making it. And the funny thing is, every time I prepare it, someone asks how I learned it.
Everybody's cooking Oreos after seeing this genius idea. I'll start by adding 180 grams of Oreos here in this pan with hot water. I'll stir it well until everything blends together. You're gonna fall in love with the result of this recipe. It ends up with an amazing flavor. After mixing everything, you can transfer it to a bowl. I bet you'll find it super easy to make. Now, I'll add 1 cup of sugar. Then I'll add 1 cup of milk. I'll whisk it well until it's all combined. And before I forget, tell me which city you're watching from so I can send you a special shout out. Today's shout out goes to Matthew Johnson from Dallas, Texas. I'm really happy you're enjoying our recipes. Now I'll add 3 eggs, 1/4 cup of oil. I'll stir it well until everything blends. This has become one of my favorite recipes. Ever since the first time I tried it, I just can't stop making it. I'll add 2 cups of wheat flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I'll mix it once again, no rush. Besides being delicious, this recipe is super nutritious. The ingredients are full of flavor and packed with health benefits. It's totally possible to eat well and stay healthy with recipes like this. With just a few ingredients and little time, you can prepare this treat. I'll pour everything into a greased baking pan. I'll bake it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. I'll use a plate to flip it over. Few steps, but the flavor is worthy of a chef. The perfect combo of convenience and flavor right in your kitchen. Now I'll add 2 cups of condensed milk here in this pan. I'll add 1 cup of milk powder, 2 tablespoons of butter. I'll stir it once again until it all comes together. When it reaches this texture, it's perfect. To make it even better, I'll add 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Mix it all again. When these ingredients come together, it's an explosion of flavors. Everyone at home will love it. After mixing well, it'll look like this. Now I'll pour this mixture over the cake. Spread it generously. Look how beautiful it's turning out. It's a simple recipe, but the secret is in the combination of ingredients I used. If you also get the measurements right, I'm sure it'll turn out perfect. Just like mine. Now just cut it and serve it on a plate. Today you learned a delicious cake recipe, and now you can surprise everyone at home. I'm sure they'll love trying this dessert. And the best part? It works for any occasion, a great option to gather the family. The smell coming out of the oven is simply irresistible. It's so tasty it'll be gone in no time at your place. Tell me what you think about this way of preparing it. I'd love to know. You'll see you don't need to spend hours in the kitchen to enjoy an amazing dish. Everyone always asks me why my fries turn out so crispy, and here's the secret. I'll start by cutting these 3 potatoes into thin strips. Today, you're going to learn a different way to make fries, and you're going to love the result. When you make it, send me a picture. I'd love to see how it turns out. Alright, once they're cut, they'll look like this. I'll transfer everything to a bowl. I bet you'll find this super easy to do. I'm also going to add some water until the potatoes are completely covered. I made this yesterday for my friends, and they loved it so much that they begged me to show you guys how to make it too. This recipe is one of those that you try once and never forget. Now I'll place these potatoes on a clean kitchen towel. With this method, there's no way to go wrong. I made sure to explain everything in detail to make it easy for you to follow along. Now I'll dry them completely. Take your time with this step. The best part of this recipe is that it's quick and only needs a few simple ingredients. There, they should look like this. After drying, I'll transfer the potatoes back to the bowl. Now I'll add 2 eggs. Then 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, 1/2 cup of wheat flour. I'll mix everything well with my hands. No rush. And before I forget, tell me which city you're watching from so I can give you a special shout out. Today's shout out goes to Jason Miller from Denver, Colorado. I'm so happy you're enjoying our recipes. After mixing everything, I'll fry the potatoes in a pan with oil. They taste so good, they'll disappear fast. Look at that. I hope you're finding this easy to follow. Even if you're not used to cooking, you can totally make this. Once they turn golden brown like this, they're perfect. You can transfer them to a plate. Don't forget to remove any excess oil. Now I'll add 1/2 an onion, finely chopped. Then 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise and 1 tablespoon of mustard. Finally, I'll add 1 tablespoon of ketchup. When these ingredients come together, the flavor is incredible. Mix everything well. Take your time. In just a few minutes, you've got an amazing meal ready to go. It's a practical recipe for busy days. Have you ever made fries in a different way like this? If you know a special trick, share it with me and I'd love to hear it. The secret is in the combination of ingredients I used. If you get the quantities right, I'm sure yours will turn out just as perfect. Now just pair this sauce with the fries. Now that you've learned it, you can surprise everyone at home. I'm sure they'll love it. Look how amazing this turned out. This recipe proves you don't need to spend hours in the kitchen to have a wonderful meal. I learned this when I traveled to Italy. The best chicken I've ever had. To start our recipe, we're going to make a cut along the side of a chicken breast and open it up completely. I covered it with plastic wrap, pounded it with a kitchen mallet, and got it to the right thickness to continue. In a bowl, I add 1 cup of wheat flour. Now we coat the chicken breast in the flour on both sides. In another bowl, I add 2 eggs, 4 cloves of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of black pepper. To add a special touch, I add parsley to taste. I also add 100 grams of grated Parmesan and mix everything really well. I take the floured chicken breast, dip it into the mixture, and then fry both sides over low heat. And before I forget, tell me what city you're watching from so I can send you a special shout-out. Today's shout-out goes to Rachel Morgan from Denver, Colorado. I'm so glad you're enjoying our recipes. Back to our delicious recipe. In the same pan where we fried the chicken breast, we add half a cup of chicken broth, 2 cloves of minced garlic. For a fresh citrus flavor, I squeeze in 1 lime. Have you ever tried making a recipe like this at home? Let me know. I'd love to hear. I add parsley to taste. And here's the secret to thickening the broth. 1 tablespoon of butter. I mix it slowly to make sure the butter blends in. Meanwhile, the aroma starts getting stronger. I gently place the chicken breast in the center of the pan. Using a kitchen spoon, I spoon the sauce over the top to cover every part with flavor. The broth is already shining beautifully. A few seconds later, I flip the chicken so it can absorb everything from the other side too. I carefully place the chicken breast on a plate. Then, with a kitchen spoon, I spoon a bit of the broth over it. The aroma filled the room, and the texture was exactly what I was aiming for. Golden, moist, and juicy. This is the moment when everything comes together. As soon as I took a bite, I could feel how the crispy outside contrasted with the soft inside. It's the kind of dish that surprises you. At home, I hadn't even finished tasting it, and they were already asking me to make it again. When a recipe works this well, you keep it for life.
I never get tired of eating fries like this. I'm gonna start by adding 4 potatoes cut into cubes to this pan with oil. I'll let them fry until they turn golden brown. Next, I'm adding a chopped onion. Mix it all up while it's frying. The result of this recipe is amazing. You're gonna fall in love with the flavor. When you make this at home, send me a pic. That's perfect right there. Now I'm transferring everything to a bowl and setting it aside. I explained it all in detail so you won't have any trouble making it. I'm sure this recipe is gonna become a classic in your home. I'm adding 7 eggs here to this bowl. 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'll keep mixing well. Tell me what city you're watching us from so I can send a special shout out your way. Today's shout out goes to Ethan Walker from Asheville, North Carolina. I'm so glad you're enjoying our recipes. You're gonna see how easy this is to make. Even if you're not used to cooking, you'll nail it. It's perfect for anyone looking for more balanced meals without giving up flavor. Now I'm adding the potatoes I fried earlier. Keep mixing slowly, no rush. This recipe was made especially for those who love practicality without giving up taste. With this unique way of preparing it, you're gonna impress everyone at the table. There, it's just perfect. In a bowl, I'm adding some olive oil. Then I'm spreading that olive oil around with a brush. The secret is in how the ingredients work together. If you also get the quantities right, I'm sure yours will turn out perfect like mine. Now I'm adding the potatoes and the other ingredients here. I'm using a spatula to level everything out nicely in the pan. I bet you're finding this pretty easy to follow. Now I'll cover it and let it cook for 10 minutes. After that, I'll use a plate to flip it and cook the other side. Look how amazing it's looking. I'm covering it again and letting it cook for 5 more minutes. It's so delicious that it'll disappear fast at your place. Just look how beautiful it turns out, and I have to say, the smell is one of the best parts. These ingredients have such an amazing aroma when combined. Even your neighbors will get curious. I'm gonna slice it and serve it on a plate. Check out how soft the texture turned out. The flavor of this dish wins everyone over. There's no going wrong. Every bite is a wonderful experience. I guarantee it's gonna surprise everyone. This recipe proves you don't need to spend hours in the kitchen to make something incredible.